Hello, welcome to Game On the eve of the final day of the Scottish Premiership season. It's been a wild ride to get here, and it's going to end in an incredible climax. Thanks for watching. This is the Records Hot Take podcast, brought to you with NordVPN. Check out the links box below for all your discounts. Get involved, as always. Well worth a look. I'm joined by Graham Young. How are you?
Very well, Nick. Very well.
Are you excited for the big climax?
Oh, it's been unbelievable. What a season, eh? What a way to do it.
And listen, it's a bumpy ride, and we're going to jump in with the questions here of the big issues. Slightly different format, the show this week. Slightly less questions, but we're stuck in. We'll tackle the big issues as always. So right, let's kick off straight away. And listen, there's only one place to start, Youngie.
Yeah.
Fir Park. Wednesday night, it's set up this final day showdown against Celtic and Hearts. Celtic need to win the game. Hearts need a draw at least to win the title. But all because of this penalty kick in the 99th minute at Fir Park. Major controversy. Was it a penalty?
I never thought my standard grade physics would come in so handy.
Biomechanics.
Biomechanics, mate. That's what it is. Now, the first element of it, it felt like the elbow was a check, didn't it? It looked like we're checking for an elbow, and then you see the handball, hands up. You think, I don't think it was a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty because I go with the rules that I think of the way they were engaging, the hands up. And do you know the one thing as well, the kind of smoking gun, I said the Zapruder film or the photo that was Almy photo from yesterday, I actually don't think that's definitive. I know it looks that way,
right? But
I think there's an element that the hand's there and the ball comes next to the hand. I just think it's a bit of smoke mirrors, you could say, or it just for me, I think it hits more head than hand. I think his hand just happens to be there, and this is all heightened by the fact of when it happened, who it happened for, and the implications that come with it as well. But for me, it wasn't a penalty.
So you're saying that you can't say with 100% certainty that it hit his hand at all?
Yeah, I think there's still an element of that. I know it looks.
See, I think it's hit his hand. I think the rule books. I mean, I don't think the rules handball are great, right? So I actually think in real life it shouldn't be a penalty kick.
Yep.
But in terms of the rules, it's a penalty kick. Mm-hmm. His hand is above his shoulder, which makes it an unnatural. People say this unnatural. It's not a silhouette. It's unnatural. Mm-hmm. Don't want to be there. You're not meant to do the Captain Birdseye salute up there.
Yeah.
So his hand's above his head. He's headed it and handed it at the same time, I think.
Okay.
But it's definitely caught his hand. Listen, didn't gain any advantage. So that's what I'm saying. The rule isn't great, but in the rule book is did it hit his hand? And the problem I've got with the VAR thing, the pitches aren't great, right? But I think you can see that it hit his hand. Therefore, it becomes a penalty kick, doesn't it?
Have you tested out the can you hit the hand? Have you used it?
Well, was it at back garden? I thought it was at Fir Park. I was at the Fir Park car park trying to see how far it would go with the mechanic. But listen, what my problem is that I think VAR should be used to end the debate, not start a new one. Yeah. If something has a flashpoint in a game and VAR can be used to say, right, you know what, this is a kind of, people are debating this, here's the definitive answer because of the video footage shows this, therefore the end of debate. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, ones like this that are so subjective that if VAR creates a new debate, we'll get a problem. So I can understand why it's the big debate, but for me, penalty kick. Right, move on, no time. We're being told to stick to the whistle these days. So it's set up this epic final day encounter. Mm-hmm. Hearts against Celtic. Celtic need to win, Hearts need to avoid defeat. How does it play out?
I don't think Hearts are going to lose them. I've felt that way for a while. They've got this real momentum, and I think there's two factors here at play. Celtic always win. Celtic always find a way to win. It's tried and tested. But they've not come against this Hearts team, and I think that's their biggest strength. So they're new to this. This is their first goal. It's not Rangers are trying to see off, it's Hearts are trying to see off.
Right.
And I think the years of Derek McInnes have been a very good manager. And this squad of players, a nice mix of the kind of Scottish core and these kind of wild card Jamestown-based signings will have enough to go. Because let's be honest, Celtic, for most part, most games are a slog. They find these moments to win the games. Maeda back in form, Marita Nacho off the bench, or Negrin with a goal out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I think Hearts have got enough, and what I like about them is the way they can kind of play the two formations and kind of go stodgy in the middle and then bring on a Chesnikov who's been a bit of disappointment. But I think this is a game where a player like that might be the sub that changes it, or Kabori for all his faults. I think he's enough of a wild card, factoring guys like Shanklin and Braga. I don't know why. I know it seems set up for Celtic to win it. I just don't see Hearts losing it. Do you agree?
I take your point, because I think obviously you've got Hearts have played against Celtic 3 times this season. They've had 2 3-1 wins and a draw at Tynecastle. So they've got to sort of number this season at times. I get that, but I just think that momentum. I think Celtic Park is going to be wild on Saturday. I mean, we saw it last weekend against Rangers, and I think it gave Celtic even going to go down. The response from the crowd was positive. I think it gave them an extra 10%. I think Celtic are on their knees. I think they've got half a dozen players who are clearly are not 100% and are anywhere near it. When you look at Kieran Tierney, Callum McGregor, Alan Engels, Arthur Johnson, none of these guys are fully fit. They're having to go to the well and drag themselves over the line. You chuck in James Forrest, can't do 90 minutes, and then you actually can't do 90 minutes. So there's a lot of players who are hanging on. But I just think that the Celtic Park crowd, the atmosphere, I think could carry them to the title, which would have been unlikely a few weeks ago. But I think that's going to be the deciding factor. I think they'll just about get there, but it's not going to be straightforward.
No, it certainly won't.
So, right, move on. So you're going Hearts.
Yes.
I've said Celtic. On to Rangers. I mean, what an end to season they've had. I mean, it completely fell apart. I mean, 4 defeats in the bounce. I mean, miserable environment. And then during the week, James Tavernier signs off in the most bizarre fashion. I mean, trying to play with his kids and all that stuff and get his mascots, then not left out the team, taking a half, then coming back. Did Danny Rohl disrespect James Tavernier with that exit?
Yes, I think he did, but I think it's an unedifying ending to a career that, for the most part, it's always got to be polarising. Tavernier Rangers career, plenty of success on the pitch, but it didn't come with trophies. But I just feel his statements seem quite compelling, but I think there could have been a better job all round. I think there's fault everywhere there.
It just looked like, to me, like a breakdown in communication from all, which is a shame, because this is something that had to be nailed down. I mean, I know the games are becoming thick and fast, and disappointment is piled up. And that's, I'm using that word. It's synonymous with Tavernier, unfortunately. Yeah. But I just think the club, the manager, and the player could all have sat down and plotted this out better. Clearly, though, would this have happened under Walter Smith? Would this have happened under Dick Advocaat? Or going back, John Gegg, John Wallace, Gabe Souness.
Come on, there's even managers in recent history that handled it better.
I think this is another symptomatic of the problem that Danny Rohl was having, that this job is starting to look a wee bit too big for him. And I think he looks like a coach with a lot of potential. I think he's there's been times this season I thought he's done a decent job getting Rangers back into the race, playing ways that probably didn't suit him to get them there, then trying to change things a wee bit, and it's fell apart. I think he's been engulfed by the situation in terms of the league, and now this is another aspect that he's not had control over. He could have controlled the narrative and created an environment for Tavernier to go and say his goodbyes properly. Let him lead the team out. The game is meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Not for Hibs, obviously, but I think it was badly handled. And in communication, managers are obviously coaching's there, man management, but communication is the main thing. Yeah. Talking to your players and talking to your club captain.
Do you think he can survive this on its own?
I think it's unfortunate from that this is happening at a time. If Rangers had won the league a game to spare, and this was kind of badly handled, you go, oh well, it's not really, it's a side issue. But the league's finished. This was an important thing for a guy who's been a good servant for Rangers through a troubling time. History will be kind to James Tavernier. I know people go like that, oh, he's only won 3 trophies, but he's a captain that came out of the wastelands of where Rangers were and brought them back to a European final and all these things. I think he deserves better from the club and from his manager. I think the manager should be the one in front and centre and communicating that. That to me is a guy who's in big problems at Rangers, and I think it's another blow against the kind of the Rohl reign that doesn't augur well. But Scotland squad next week. We're building up World Cup coming soon. I know we're wrapped into the title race, but Scotland squad is going to be announced next week. Who are the curveballs?
The fact they can name such a big squad, there's probably going to be a few in there. The one for me that's stood out for a while, and it sums up Scotland's luck sometimes, it'd be a midfielder of all positions, but Hayden Hackney at Middlesbrough, watching the playoffs and the end of the season with Middlesbrough, I think he's a proper player. But it's in a position of strength.
Is there not talk about him maybe going to England and all that?
There is, but he's always kept the door open. And I think the one thing with the Harvey Barnes, this feels harsh on Steve Clarke, but deep down, I always felt I wished we had done a better job of convincing him to come play. Maybe his mind was already made up. But I think Hayden Hackney...
Wined and dined him. And
well, exactly. I always felt like it's...
told him he's pretty and all
that.
that.
Well, I would
definitely... flowers and chocolates.
I think he was the game changer. I think that gave us a whole new world to play. But Hayden Hackney's one for me that...
he used us to try and smoke out England and all that stuff.
And it worked.
It worked, yeah.
But the other one as well, probably not a massive curveball, Ross Stewart's.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Ross Stewart has had a great run of form since the turn of the year. I mean, he's banging in the goals for Southampton. Thankfully, his boss was at Old Spygate and all that stuff. Hopefully, Stevie was spying as well. I think, Ross Stewart for me is. I think I fear it's too late for him. I think though that the squad.
Do you think it's?
I just think that the last squad that he had, I thought was a bit strange. Like, I mean, and the ones did bring in, not really giving them much of a sniff. I just thought it was a bit weird. Like, there's a chance there to look at something different. We know the Scotland squad, right? There's only one or two places up for grabs. The striker department's an area I think we kind of lack. Ross Stewart would bring something a bit different, I think. He's got that. I mean, he's leaked the other day through his goal. I mean, it was like Michael Jordan, wasn't he? So I think he'd be one that I would be trying to sneak in.
Hold up play is very good as well. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's
really
just something a bit different, I think. I mean, Kieran Bowie's another one. He got a few goals out in Italy. But I think, that the ship might have sailed. I think
Ollie McBurney's biggest contribution to Scotland was an insight into Steve Clarke's thinking, and he told him that Lyndon Dykes, Shea Adams have kept their places for a long time because of loyalty. And I think that's a guide to where he's probably got to go.
Yeah. So we're not expecting many curveballs, are we?
No,
I wouldn't have thought so. Right, anyway, that'll do. As I said, new quick format.
Very quick.
Very quick. Good. It was. Well, that's. I have been known for my speed in the past and various.
Barely finished my coffee.
I mean, work-wise, I'm obviously very quick when it comes to work. But listen, we're going to get organised for an epic weekend.
Sensational.
So listen, hold on to your hats because it's going to be explosive. But listen, thanks for watching as always. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think of the new quickfire format. We can pass it on to our evil overlords and who just tell us what to do. Don't forget to check out NordVPN in the description box for your discounts for all your internet security needs. And we'll catch you again next time. Thank you.
Cheers.